A federal judge in Mississippi has temporarily blocked the Biden administration from enforcing new rules that provide protections against discrimination for transgender Americans in healthcare settings. The move comes just 2 days before these protections were set to take effect. U.S. District Judge Louis Garola, a Bush appointee, made the ruling, applying it nationwide. These rules, introduced by the Department of Health and Human Services, HHS, earlier this year, aim to prevent health providers and insurers who receive federal funding from discriminating based on gender identity or sexual orientation. These guidelines were intended to restore protections that were originally put in place during the Obama administration, but rolled back by the Trump administration. However, the swift legal challenges posed by a group of Republican state attorneys general argued that HHS overstepped its authority, ultimately leading to Judge Garola's injunction. The judge's decision leaned heavily on recent Supreme Court rulings. Notably, he referenced a landmark decision that overturned the Chevron deference, a precedent that required courts to uphold federal agency regulations based on ambiguous laws. Additionally, he noted the Bostock v. Clayton County case, emphasizing that HHS had misapplied this ruling to extend protections under Section 1557 of the Affordable Care Act. The injunction was a triumph for the conservative states involved in the lawsuit, including Tennessee and Mississippi. Tennessee Attorney General Jonathan Skrmetti celebrated the decision, stating that the administration frequently issues regulations that twist the law to push an ideological agenda. He pointed to this case as another example of states resisting such overreach. Mississippi Governor Tate Reeves reiterated this sentiment, expressing gratitude towards the judge for defending the traditional interpretation of Title IX. This is not the first instance of the Biden administration's policies facing judicial roadblocks. In recent weeks, multiple federal judges have blocked rules meant to expand protections for LGBTQ+ students, specifically regarding the definition of sexual harassment in educational institutions under Title IX. These repeated legal challenges underline a broader pushback against federal overreach and unilateral regulatory actions perceived to infringe upon states' rights and traditional values. The conversation around healthcare and transgender rights continues to be divisive. The judge's ruling prevents trans individuals from accessing certain kinds of affirming care without fear of discrimination. Yet the plaintiffs argued that these regulations stem from an ideological commitment rather than medical necessity, raising concerns about financial burdens on states and healthcare systems obligated to comply. Through these battles, the message from conservative leaders remains clear: regulatory power must be checked, and federal agencies must not bypass legislative authority. This ruling represents another critical moment in the ongoing tug-of-war between federal regulation and state sovereignty.